The Paranormal View. The Paranormal View. The Paranormal View. Time now for the Paranormal View. The Paranormal View on the Para-X Radio Network with your host, Henry Foister, Craig Rupp, and Jeffrey Gould. The Paranormal View.
Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the Para-X Radio Network. You got Henry Foister here, and we got Craig Rupp and Jeffrey Gould with us tonight. So
Hello.
We've got the whole country
Hello,
covered.
Everybody.
Yes. We got a great guest will be coming on here in a few minutes, but I want to let everybody know that if you're listening from somewhere around the world and you're not in the chat room with us, you can come on over to para-x.com, click on the live chat button at the top of the page, and you'll be right in with all these wonderful people, and you can interact with us and ask questions of the guest. So that's a real good thing. I do want to let everybody know that if you would like to send us an email about anything, you can go to theparanormalviewfans@gmail.com, and you can do that. If you would like to have the Paranormal View at an event or an engagement, a live investigation, you can contact us by going to the paranormalviewfans@gmail.com, or you can contact Mark Tetlow for Ideal Events if you'd like to do that, because he is our agent, so you can go through him also. Lots of different ways to be able to get a hold of us. So we got anything else right offhand? I know we're going to be doing Scarefest this year. So
well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
yeah, that's in September 23rd, 24th, 25th. We will be there broadcasting live from there. I'll also be helping Dave do some of the broadcasts throughout the day. So that's always fun. There's loads and loads of people there. If you've never been there, you'd be amazed at what you'll see walking around. Oh yeah, well they have the people that come in from those haunted houses, and they be walking around on stilts and blood all over them. Not real blood, but you know.
How high are the ceilings in these haunted houses?
I don't know in the haunted houses, but I do know they're on stilts and stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see that, Henry. I will hopefully be there alongside you.
Well, that sounds like a winner.
Well, I tell you, if I book a commercial or a feature film, in fact, I have a feature film audition on Monday. If I book something like that and it's well paying enough, then yay, I'll certainly be there as well. But right now, it looks like not so much.
Well, if I hit the lottery, I'll help you out.
Yay!
Myself as well, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
I don't even want to bring up the lottery. That's another story.
Oh, last week we had a great show. We had Eric B. on, and he was trying out for the show Emergency Encounters. And just to let everybody know, he was the one that has been chosen to be the host of that show on Monday nights. So thanks to everybody who was here last week and sent Dave a lot of
Threatening emails.
Yeah, emails saying that they really liked him. That
All the blackmail photos helped. Thank
oh
you,
yeah,
everybody.
Tonight it's going to be kind of like a laid-back type night. We will be getting our guest on here in just a few minutes. Have you guys got anything new you're wanting to throw out there? I know I'm working on getting us into a place in Lebanon, Ohio, called the Glendower Mansion.
Why does that sound familiar?
It's an old house, and I've been through it just touring it, not as an investigator. But from what I understand, it's got activity in it, and there's also a museum up there that is supposed to really be active, and I've got it fixed to where we'll be able to go in there also. I just have to work out dates for it. So that's 2 places up there. I'm also working.
And it's located where?
In Lebanon, Ohio. They've got a famous restaurant up there where, I don't know, 8 or 9 different presidents has stayed in.
All at once? Wow.
Well, not at one time, no. And you can
be a really crowded room with bunk beds and all sorts of.
Right, and while you can go there and eat dinner. They have great food, and after you get done, if you want, you can go upstairs and walk down the halls, and they have on the wall there of the different rooms what famous people has stayed in there. The doors is usually open, and they have it roped off, but you can still see into the room and see what they look like. It's a real old place.
Oh, wow.
And
so it's kind of like the way they do tours at the Winchester House and such like that?
I've never been to the Winchester House, so I don't know how they do it. Well, this isn't tours. You can just walk through on your own. It's called the Golden Lamb Restaurant, and I know Mark Twain has stayed there. All kinds of different presidents has been there. So it's a pretty famous place, and they have real good food too. So I'm not trying to get us into that place, but Lebanon has some history to it around through there, and I'm getting it set up now to do the Post Town school in just outside of Middletown, Ohio. And another surprise place that I'm working on trying to find the right people to be able to get us into is the Wright-Patterson Homestead, which is an old house complex. I guess the Wright brothers had lived in it, or some of the people from that era had lived there. So that's supposed to be fairly active too.
Awesome.
So that's... Go ahead.
Patty in the chat room is saying, "Can I go? Can I go?" So.
If I get them set up, you can go. So that'll be a good thing. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to have Jeff run down who our guest is, and while he's doing that, I'm going to call her in. So you'll probably hear her say hello while he's talking. So,
well, our guest tonight is our own wonderful little Donn Shy, who is also known as the Para-Publicist. Her website is arethereghosts.com. That's R, the letter, thereghosts.com. And if you go to her site, arethereghosts.com/theParaPublicist, you get a lot of bio on her. She's also the host of an online radio show Monday nights called The Green Room, and that's over at liveparanormal.com. And I wish anybody luck trying to find it. I think I found it once. Their site is so convoluted. It is like the anti-Para-X. It is so convoluted. But she has also hosted the wonderful On Board the Queen Mary Queen Con. This was, it was last year, wasn't it? Yeah. Which not only had some very prestigious speakers, including but not limited to both Ruth Brothers, EVP experts, the Constantines, and Richard Sennett, but I had some wonderful ghostly experiences, including my first EVP, and I'm all happy about that. So I guess Henry is still trying to dial her in. Oh, it's not that Donn did not forget about tonight. She is in the middle of nowhere. She is house sitting for her newly married daughter, and she is house sitting her daughter's dogs up in Ojai, California, which is beautiful. I envy her there. I've been up there. It's just magnificent sights and views. But she has no internet service, and she was like, and I've had that happen too. They've said, oh yeah, you can watch our TV and internet access, and then I get there and they're like passwords and everything. I'm like, what? So yeah, but I'm pretty sure. Don, are you on yet?
Not yet.
Still working on that.
Yeah, for some reason my computer is trying to lock up on me and going real slow, and I have no idea what it's doing.
Blame Skype. I always do.
Yeah, but my computer was running a little slow even before I switched on Skype today. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe, the internet's just being slow today. Yeah. Wondering.
I hear a ring.
Number 2.
2 ringy dingies.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Dawn. How are you doing?
Yes. I'm doing good.
Good. My computer is kind of going crazy right now, so if for some reason everybody gets cut off, I'll have to call everybody back in. I have no idea what it's doing and trying to lock everything
Okay, well,
up.
at least you've got a computer. You know what I'm saying? I can't even get on the computer, so I have to apologize for that.
Well,
yeah, I don't know how I would survive more than a day realizing I have no computer, no internet. How do I check my email?
Exactly. Now I can check email on the phone, but I can't really. It's not that easy to just respond back to these things. So, are we on the air right now?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, then I just wanted to make sure I knew that. Yeah, I am kind of blown away because I do, like most of us, live on the computer. As soon as I leave work, I go home, I get right on the computer, and I'm there, and I am babysitting my daughter's home and her 3 dogs while she's on her honeymoon in Canada. And they have internet access up here, but for some reason my computer will not hook up. I thought I would have Skype. I thought I would have internet. I thought I'd have Face. I have nothing. And so I'm wondering if this is punishment or something telling me I need some time away from all the technology to think. So it's kind of been good, but it's been bad,
So now,
and it's all quiet up here. It's dark up here. All I can hear are animal sounds, and it's like, is this punishment or is this good? I don't know.
Wow. But it's
Well,
probably good to get away from everything for a while and just get time to kind of reflect on by yourself.
Yeah, it is, but that's what's difficult because without technology, I guess that's the way it is today, and it's been very difficult for me to get back to basics and just try to figure out what to do without, computer access. So it's kind of been interesting. I've done some photos, been doing some photography, been doing some editing, working on some videos for my daughter's wedding and all the celebrations that we had. So that's been fun, but still during editing, I like to jump over to the internet and see what everybody's up to, and I can't do that. So I'm really glad at least we were able to hook up by phone.
Well, that's perfect.
I didn't want to miss the show.
Now, I know a lot of people sees you come into the chat room from time to time, but it's been a while since I've had you on the show, and probably a lot of these people, there are a lot of new ones that probably don't really know who you are. So why don't you tell us
There's a lot of people that don't know who I am.
well, why don't you tell?
Okay.
Why don't you tell everybody who Donn Shy is?
Okay.
And how you got into the paranormal.
Okay. I have been fascinated with the paranormal since a very young age. And, I don't know. I'm one of the ones that have always thought, well, this is possible, and what if? I always think of the what if. That's why I guess I've got such a great imagination about a lot of things. But I'm always thinking, what if this is real? Why do people say that there aren't ghosts? Why do people say there aren't UFOs? What if? And so I studied everything I could get my hands on. When I was in elementary school, I was the one that any book that there was about little ghosts and stuff, I checked them all out. As I got older, I got my hands on everything, that I could read that was of the strange and unusual, type of subjects. And I kept in the back of my head, and I was studying that. And then when DVDs started coming out and, VHS videos and shows on television, whatever there was, I was there. I mean, Twilight Zone, One Step Beyond, Outer Limits, whatever it was, because I'm thinking, what if this is real? Continued those studies of everything from, Bigfoot to UFOs, ghosts, and just out of the ordinary. And I started meeting a lot of people within the field. And then I started realizing so many people had so much information to share within the field that I thought I want to start promoting some of these people, getting them out there where people can hear them, and then became the Para-Publicist. And then I was inundated and overwhelmed with so many people wanting me to put their information out there, and I was totally enjoying it. And I spent 24/7 doing everything I could and promoting people and getting their names out there and getting them interviews and trying to get them into events and whatever I could do for them. And then, of course, it wasn't paying me big time. I had to take a regular job. So I've had to back off a little bit on the publicity end of it, but I still promote people. And that's how I became the Para-Publicist, but I'm also an investigator and a researcher. And like I say, everything I read, everything I got my hands on, thinking I got to know more about this, when the Internet came out, I decided, oh, my God, I wonder if anyone else is into this. And when I started doing searches, I was blown away by what I found. And I would, every Friday night, I would sit down on my computer at 5 o'clock, and if it took all night long, I would sit and look at everything I could find on the Internet. And when I started realizing, look at all this stuff. This is amazing. Oh, my goodness, look where they've been. Oh, look what they got. Listen to this EVP. What's an EVP? I got to know more. Then I realized, why am I looking at their stuff? Because I started finding things that I'm thinking, well, I don't really know if that's, true or what. And then it hit me. Why not go out and find out for yourself? Then I began actually investigating physically quite a number of years ago. And I am a part of the Pasadena Paranormal Research Society. I have been for a while, and I'm their documentarian and one of the investigators. And then have been journeying to different locations and, just documenting what I can and seeing what I come back with, because I wanted to know that what I was seeing on the Internet was this real. And some of the things I came back with have absolutely blown me away. So that's kind of a encapsulated version of how I began in it, got to the Para-Publicist, and my fascination, and that I'm still doing it.
Now, your website, do you have a new one?
No, I haven't been on there for a while. I need to get that all updated, but it is the DonnShy.com, and that's the Para-Publicist website. And I haven't been there for a while updating because I've been so tied up. But I have someone that's going to work on that for me.
Wow, expanding, and now you got to have helpers.
Well, no, I kind of demanded helpers because I just don't have time to get to it because I have that real job thing that kind of messes up everything.
There's some of us that has to do that. Yeah.
I really hate that.
Oh, I know.
But I did find one good thing about being up here out in the wilderness, I feel. I'm also working on my presentation because I will be at Amarillo, Texas Frontier Paracon event, and I will be presenting. And I know that a lot of people that do events and whatnot, I see them talk about me and this is what I do and this is what you should do and this is how you should investigate. This is the equipment you and I watch people during these events. When you start showing what you feel is or data that you've collected, their eyes come up. They stop texting people and they actually look at the presentation. So in my presentations, that's what I do is I just present things that I've captured that I find that there's no explanation for. This app is actually giving me an opportunity to work on my presentation for that event.
Very good.
Donn, my heart goes out to you. You sound like you're just down the road from me. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, too.
Really? Well, it's this just isn't me. I'm normally... I've got my finger on the pulse of activity. This is so strange. So I think I should enjoy it. And probably by the time I get to the point of thinking, this is really cool, it's going to be time for me to leave. But, at least I've had the experience. So it's kind of great.
Now, I know one of the things that you had did was a DVD. We also had that on our show, or talked about it the last time you was on. I have looked everywhere to find different clips from that and cannot find it. Do you have it up anywhere?
It's on the DVD. No. There are very few. There's very few of the clips. And I remembered you had requested that I put that. What was it?
It's the one, right? The shadow that crossed the
I have
ceiling.
placed that places, but it doesn't come across where you can really see it. On the DVD, I've got it where you can see it.
Oh, it does.
That thing blows more people away. I think I put it on, it might be on YouTube, and I do think I added it to my Facebook page. Also on my Facebook page, I added some amazing, what I felt were amazing EVPs from the Queen Mary when I was there during the Night Watchers event on the Queen Mary. And I swear, in my mind, and from listening to it, I think I got Peter James, the world famous psychic. So I have posted some EVPs, and along with the footage that I was filming at the time I captured these EVPs, on my Facebook, and I think I put the creeper up there too. And but it doesn't come across as well as it does on the DVD. And if I could get some time after this event, maybe I can sit down and get some time to start taking some of the clips from the DVD and posting them on YouTube where they're individualized. So people can see them. But a lot of the clips from that, the ones that are the most powerful as far as I'm concerned, some of those I'm pulling out, and those are included in my presentations that I do when I'm speaking at an event.
That's good, because I really did like that one that you'd caught at Waverly. I think you could see that so well. And it's just a black thing goes crawling, and you can see it's like arms and legs as it crawls across
like
a beam
around the wall,
and then goes right down the wall.
I know there's many shows that's about it and tried to capture it. In fact, I did see one Ghost Adventures crew, Zach and the guys. They went there and they were going, "We keep hearing about the creeper. We're going to see if we can capture the creeper." They did not get it. They didn't get any footage of it. And I contacted Zach, and I'm like, I totally got the creeper. So, I got the creeper, but it's something very difficult, apparently, to capture. But I do remember that when Ghost Hunters with Jason and Grant, the early days, when they went to Waverly Hills, they captured it. And when I saw what I thought, oh, my God, it's so it pretty much blew me away, and I guess it's very difficult to but I was amazed. And I'm amazed that I captured, because at the moment something needed to be filmed, my IR battery died. And I said, "Friend, do you have your good flashlight? Oh, it's around over here." If it had not been for...
Skype is really messing up tonight because we are just...
Well, so far I'm hearing her okay, a little bit of an echo now and then. But I hear me cutting out.
Right. They're saying in chat room that we're kind of cutting out. But hopefully that'll clear up, because that's the way Skype usually does sometime. So now, if anyone has questions for Donn, feel free to private chat them to Craig, Jeffrey, or myself, and we'll get them right over to Donn to answer. So feel free to do that. And if you're not here in the chat room to where you can do that, but you're listening from somewhere around the world, please come over to para-x.com and click on live chat, and you'll be right in here with all these wonderful people, and you can interact with us. I do know that we have listeners tonight from the U.S., Australia, and France. So welcome, everybody.
Wow.
Yes. So
awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
But is Finland asleep tonight or what?
I don't know. They could be on in just a little bit, but when I checked just a few minutes ago, that was all it was on right now. So we usually have some from the UK also.
Oh, great.
Right. So.
Well, we were discussing Waverly Hills, and that getting the creeper was an amazing capture visually. But I think I got the most compelling EVPs I've ever heard from that location as well. And I don't know, if people have heard me on other shows and speaking and whatnot, I'm a firm believer in not sitting there and just filtering to death what you feel is an EVP. Because you can take silence, in my opinion, put it into an audio program and keep filtering it until it sounds like it's saying something. You know what I mean? Even if there's nothing there, you can make it sound like there's some. So I feel that if it's an EP and it's right in your face, that's enough for me. I do not filter my EVPs because then I consider them tainted. And my EVPs from Waverly Hill or like sounds like someone there, but you can tell it is very obvious it's from somewhere else from the other side. And those usually give people the chills when they hear those. I think the last time I was on, we even played those, Henry. They were they're pretty scary, and a lot of people get the creeps. But one thing I did notice, and what I would like to do with people is, we're always talking about getting together, working together, figuring things out, but with such a interest in the EVP thing, because pictures and video, yeah, we can mock those up, we can do things to them, but EVPs is kind of difficult unless you just overtaint them by filtering.
Oh yeah.
But what I've always thought of doing is if you've gone to a lake location I've been and I've got an EVP, if you've got an EVP, why don't we compare notes and see if we get the same voice? Because I don't see how they can just be these totally random spirits every single time. No one ever gets the same voice. I mean, if something is, quote, haunting the place,
then
at some point it should be the same thing.
Should be the same thing, yes. Mm-hmm.
You see what that's what I've wanted to do, and no one's really stepped up to the plate. But then I was sitting around doing nothing one weekend, and they had one of the Ghost Adventures marathons on, and of course I was at the computer, and my first up one, it was the one where they were at Waverly Hills. So I was still on the computer, and I could hear the television, but they were playing back EVPs. They captured an EVP of the exact same voice that I captured in the death tunnel at Waverly Hills.
Hmm.
And right then, it blew me away because, oh, my God, that's the exact voice I got. So right there, it quantified it to me. There is someone that's the same person. I did hear it. It's on mine, and I heard it on their show. And so right there, that's something I would like to pursue, is going back and trying to capture that specific voice again, because it was the exact voice.
And you went all the way down the death tunnel to the bottom?
Well, I'll tell you what happened with that, because that's the first place everybody wants to go to the death tunnel. And as a matter of fact, the Booth Brothers coined the term death tunnel because that was the name of their movie. It's actually really, I think, referred to more so as the body chute.
Right, that's what
it was originally created. It was originally created to bring supplies up underneath the building from the trains at the base, and they would bring the supplies up. But then when the deaths were happening so quickly to remove the bodies, then they started taking them down on the trolleys. And that's when it became the body chute. But actually, when the term started death tunnel, that's after the Booth Brothers put out their film, The Death Tunnel, that was filmed at Waverly Hills. Okay, because I do like the Booth Brothers and I work with them, so I had to throw that out there. But anyway, when we went in there, that was the first place I wanted to go. And I was filming Michael and Marty, the amazing medium team. They had a friend with them, and then some girl out of the blue just ran in and said, I want to go with you guys. We don't even know who she was. She was random. She ran in front of us. Their friend was in front of them, and then I was following behind them because I was trying to capture footage of them in the tunnel. And as we were walking down, I think we got 3/4 of the way almost, and all of a sudden I got very dizzy. I felt like I was going to faint. It felt like the room was moving. I felt very strange, and I just stopped in my tracks. And then I turned the camera around, and Michael and Marty had stopped in front of me as well. And Michael said, "Oh my God, that was weird." And I said, "What?" I just was really dizzy. He said, for some reason we got very dizzy, and we don't want to go any further. So something made us feel in a way that we shouldn't go any further, and that's when I get the EVP of the man saying, "Go back." So that, it all correlated. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, so this guy was trying to protect us. When we left the tunnel and went back up, and we were discussing what we had felt because we'd all stopped in the same area, Michael was saying he was getting a feeling that something was down at the end of the tunnel, that, perhaps we shouldn't go down there. He said, I don't know, I feel like perhaps teenagers playing with black magic or the occult, or he said there's something down there that someone was playing with that they shouldn't have been. So after I heard Michael say that, I went to Tina, the owner, and I asked her, I said, hey, have you ever had any reports of anything going on at the end of the tunnel? She described to me the teenagers had played with black magic down there. So Michael, his feelings were right, and whatever it was in the tunnel was telling us to go back. I don't know what it felt might have happened to us if we went all the way, but we never went any farther than where we stopped. And we did not hear the EVP telling us to go back and didn't go any further for some reason. So it was a very interesting experience.
The Death Tunnel, another location on my bucket list.
Yeah, you got to do it, and it's a great bucket list place, I'll tell you, because you got to figure with the history that went on in that building alone. But then when they started removing the bodies through there, and some of the stories you hear about that, the things that happened actually in the tunnel, you got to know something's there. It was one of the places I was really wanting to get into, and I'm really glad I went because I got some of the most amazing stuff. When we fucked into the tunnel, as we entered, I turned on the camera, I was filming, and of course, it sounded like two spirits. There was no one around us, and it sounded like spirits were kind of mocking us in a way, because we walked in, and I was filming, and you hear these voices go, "Let's walk the tunnel," and the other one goes, "No," because how many times must spirits hear, "Let's walk in the tunnel," you know? So it was like they were almost mocking us in a way. And that was the first thing I got, and it was still before the tunnel had been cleaned up. There was some debris and people, I guess kids going their party, and I said, well, I guess somebody's been here, and I looked down to my left, there was a Bud Light can, and I said, well, somebody's been here, Bud Light, and then a voice, an EVP goes, yes, and I'm like, and there was no one there answering me yes, and then we got the one that said go back. So I got quite a number of things in there, and I think that was very rare because I haven't heard a lot of EVPs coming out of the tunnel, but those were all kind of consecutive, and they were all reacting to the things that we were saying or doing. And so it wasn't like anything, residual voices down there or anything. It was like something was following us or with us to protect us or something. I don't know.
Certainly having apparently enjoying your company at least. Certainly, I mean, it wasn't like they were, sending you hordes of flies or anything.
Right, and we weren't feeling threatened. I mean, I wasn't scared to death, or I didn't get that creepy feeling that you get when you've got to get out of an area. I didn't feel that. I just felt like I was filming Michael and Marty, and then to capture that stuff, I felt very privileged because whenever I do get great EVPs or anything from the other side, even if it's only one thing, I feel very privileged that they've allowed me to capture it on tape, because I know a lot of times people will hear things and they go home and check the recordings and they have absolutely nothing to show for it. So I consider myself privileged in being able to, for them allowing me to capture them, because obviously it takes a lot for them to do that. Or maybe, I don't know if it is my camera, they call my camera the magic camera. I don't know what it is, but I always consider myself very privileged to walk away with something that I can go, oh my God, this is something, because we didn't see it or hear it while we were there.
Have you ever run away from an area at all? Have you ever felt scared enough to run away? Ladine is curious in the chat room, and she actually asked if she's actually run from an area, and if so, where and why?
And that's weird. I have run from spiders. The spiders spook me. Okay, spiders, now if it's something I can't see and it can hurt me, oh no, I just walk right into that. No, spiders scare me. I will be from the spider. But to be very, very honest, when I go on the investigations or wherever I'm going, of course, I've always got a camera in hand, and I kind of consider myself out of the investigation, because what I'm doing is actually documenting the investigation. So I'm filming the people that are doing the investigating. And then I just fingers and talk in my mind, hoping I capture something, and when I get home, I see what I got. There have been times that I felt uncomfortable, where I thought, I feel like something's going on. I'm usually filming, and I'm thinking, how unprofessional would that be? And when I do get kind of a spooky, I continue to film because I think, maybe I'm going to bring something home from this. But I've never really ran from an area yet. I'm sure that'll come soon, but I haven't done it because I kind of put myself out of, I'm outside of the box looking in, filming. So I don't put myself in that. And I think that's where a lot of people get, they get these feelings where somebody's going up, because I think they spook themselves a lot of times. And I'm not saying everybody, so I don't want anyone to think I'm putting anyone down, but I do know of some people that they go in and they convince themselves so much that this area is haunted, and they go in frightened. If you go in frightened, you're going to come out with feelings, that something was going on, I'm scared to death, whatever. But I don't pump myself up that way, because I think, okay, I got to be on my toes, have everything charged up, have my IR going, and I got to film so-and-so, and I got to film so-and-so. So I don't have the opportunity to really spook myself. And I think if more people went in with an open mind and not thinking, this place is really haunted, I think you might find there that a lot of places aren't as haunted as a lot of people feel, or they may be, but it may be like a Casper thing. It's not always frightening where something's going to hurt you. I don't know. I have a lot of different views on that, but all I can say is I've not yet run from a location, but that's because I'm actually filming what's happening. I'm not feeling that I'm in the center of what's happening. Does that make sense?
And so I've seen too many ghost investigation videos, both amateur and even professional, where they drop the camera and run at the first sight of anything. And the thing is they always run in such a way.
Right.
It was an episode of Ghost.
That's what they went in looking for.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but like you get something like Ghost Adventures. I forget which one it was, but they were at Linda Vista, and I'm sure you've been to Linda Vista. I don't know how many times.
Yeah. I remember. I know what you're going to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Okay.
and for the people in the chat room, they each have a camera, 3 of them, so they're all recording each other as well as walking around. And as this guy goes into a room and starts to go out of frame, you see him lower his camera. And then he backs out, freaking out that there's an apparition inside. I'm like, well, it would have been nice if you'd had your camera up, and then not run away like a little, like a little child or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I turned a corner in both Linda Vista. I heard weird scratching sounds, and I just kept looking until I found a pair of pigeons that were just sitting up on top of a set of lockers. And I thought, oh, cute.
And they were laughing at the humans.
Probably, yeah. But I was, the abandoned women's prison in East LA?
Right.
We, Lori and I and some others were checking it out as a possibility for the convention they ended up doing at the Staples Center. And I turned a corner and there were 2 pigeons. And I'm thinking, how many people on these shows that I've seen would have turned a corner, seen 2 birds, and freaked out?
Right.
Just because their mind
the noise.
Something else. Yeah,
I just heard them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And see, that's what makes it difficult, and that's my point when I'm saying a lot of people will go in, because they've read a lot of the history, they hear a lot of stories, so they go in anticipating. And I know in everyday life, if you look for something, you're going to find it. I found that in a lot of different situations, not only the paranormal and investigating. If you look for something, you're going to find it.
Listen, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And what I'm going to do is, while we're on break, I'm going to dump everybody on Skype. And
am I being dumped?
Yeah, and then I'm going to reboot it and bring everybody back into Skype, just to see if I can clear it out and see if I can get this problem straightened out.
Okay, well, Henry, I hate to be dumped, but I'm with you.
That sounds like a winner. So, Craig, you want to take us out to break, and then while we're on break, I'll do all this and see if I can get everything working back like it's supposed to.
Absolutely, Henry. You're listening to the Paranormal View on the Para-X Radio Network. We will be right back.
Don't go away. The Paranormal View will be right back.
Your source for everything paranormal, Para-X.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the Para-X Radio Network. Now we'll look and see if everybody else is back. Craig, you here?
I'm here if you can hear me.
We can hear you. Jeffrey?
I'm here. So far, you guys sound clear enough.
And Donn?
I am back.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Hopefully, Skype may have cleared up. We'll find out as we go on, though, so just cross our fingers. Welcome back, everybody, and we're glad you're here. We have Donn Shy with us tonight, and great show so far. If you do have questions for Donn, please go ahead and private chat them to myself or Jeffrey or Craig, and we'll get those right over to her. So the people that's in the chat room, you can let me know if the sound is a lot better. Hopefully it is. So with that, getting back to Donn, you what other things? Well, I guess you say you are in a group now. Do you get to go out and investigate very much now?
Lately, I haven't been able to because there's been so much going on. And actually, my understanding is because and due to some paranormal things that people don't realize that this stuff really happens, a lot of the team members have had major problems due to items that are, I guess, haunted. So our team's kind of gone through quite some turmoil due to some items, and it's one of the things. I've also done a couple shows on it about, items being haunted and people being concerned with things they bring into their homes or what they do or going into investigations without protection and the safety factor. And, and earlier when I was talking, I was saying that, you go in and you're going to find what you're expecting to find. I'm not saying that all places are not haunted, but then there are also haunted people. So it's really a difficult, especially the new people coming into it thinking, this is a piece of cake, I see it on TV, I want to go out and do this. There's a lot of things thinking about it properly, and you're not going in protected, and you're going in, without any information behind you. So that's why I always say that knowledge is power, and in this field as well, look at and read what people have come before us, what they've done, what they've studied, the things that they've come up with. A lot of it's information that can help you, to do this kind of work, because this isn't something to be taken lightly. And that's what concerns me with a lot of the new people just jumping on board. And I think people can spook themselves and create things that will happen. Like if they're really scared, whatever it is there, it's going to do something that's going to go, okay, that's what you want, that's what we're going to give you. You know what I mean? So you really need to go into locations prepared, and also always have the safety. Also protect yourself before you go in anywhere, because I think that's the most important thing, especially if you're going in specifically to investigate the paranormal. You really need to be aware of what you're walking into, and that's one of the things I like to put out there, because some people just walk into a place, just don't even think about it, and come home and things happen and they don't understand why, and they don't really think that it could correlate with.
Now, Donn, you indicated that people were having trouble with haunted items. Are you saying that
Right.
they're not buying like ghosts in bottles off eBay or anything like that?
Nope.
Are you saying that
Nope.
maybe attachments, ghosts following them home from investigations?
Yeah. Well, I have come home with a hitchhiker or two, and one of them was from Waverly Hills that really put me through the ringer for a while. Also, some team members, it was an investigation that I didn't go on. They had gone to a home, and after doing some investigating there, they realized that it might possibly be caused by an item that they had, which I can't go into the investigation or what the item was, for privacy purposes. But apparently, team members, our directors, took this item home, and whoever had the item, horrible, horrible things began happening. And it's not just stuff like, your gas got turned off because you didn't pay the bill. We're talking about very, very bad things that, and if you know John Zappis, he's got the museum.
Oh, yeah.
He takes in things. He now has that new show, and here I go promoting, but he's the star of the new show, on Sci-Fi, and it's going to be talking about what, showing the investigations they go on.
Yeah, I still pronounce it Siffy the way they spell it now.
Siffy.
Yes, well, anyway, he does have that new show on there that just started, so that's pretty cool, and I'm hoping that might open people's eyes to that might probably be haunted. And in fact, I was having some problems, and I contacted John immediately, and I told him what was going on. He's going, "What do you think it is?" And a boss of mine had visited China quite a number of times, and he sent me home antiques from China. And, you know, the Chinese and the Asian spirits seem to be a lot older and more times more aggressive than what we have over here. So I thought for sure it was the items that he had given me. So John said immediately, take them out of the house, see what happens, blah, blah, blah. Then I realized it was just the people in my house. So I found out that was the joke's on me because it was just the people I was dealing with in my home. But he's very serious about, you know, specific items and things that can be attached to them. And like Marla's show, I was listening to that the couple times she's had the Robert the Doll thing. I mean, people got to realize, you know, most people that think with a more logical mind, they just go, oh, yeah, right, okay, yeah, right. But people have to realize this stuff is real. You know, they got to know we're not playing around with, you know, this isn't jokes and TV made up stuff. That show, if you heard it with Marla, that Robert the Doll thing is amazing. And I know if you watch the show with John Zappis, you're going to see, you know, the things he encounters. But if you check out his website on the museum, you'll see there's a number of things that, you know, it's kind of astounding that something can attach to an object and create problems for the living.
That's true. I had someone get in contact with me and said that they had a mirror that had come out of their grandmother's house, and they said it was so haunted they had to take it out and bury it. So I've got some people checking on that for me right now, but if that's the case,
and that's spooky.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know what was happening with it that made them feel that it was haunted, but.
But you know, and a lot of times this is reality. It's real stuff that's going on, and then a lot of times people will think, oh, this came from Grandma's house, and it was. I always felt uncomfortable there, so I know this is spooky. So sometimes people can make it happen, manifest it in a way.
Right.
But sometimes things are legitimately, you know, have an attachment of some sort. But the thing with the mirror, that's kind of intriguing to me because, you know, you figure all the stories like Alice Through the Looking Glass and this, that, and the other. We're kind of looking into a dimension that's kind of walking beside ours. And you figure a mirror, what an awesome portal for something to be able to come through when it chooses. So the haunted mirror thing is always kind of spooky to me.
Yeah, it would. I mean, you could be looking at it and see something totally different other than yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And that's always fascinating. Yeah.
But
whenever I hear about haunted mirrors, though, my mind always jumps back to the 1970s commercial tagline. Isn't that a nice reflection on you?
I guess it would depend on the reflection.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
When I'm being out on the West Coast, and Para-Publicist, you do know that the Paranormal View now has someone out on the West Coast. So
yes, I do.
If we have some sort of thing where somebody needs for the Paranormal View to come in and do a show live at their place or something like that while they're doing an investigation or anything, we do have somebody now that can go in there.
Awesome. That's really great. I'm so glad that Jeff is on the show and representing the West Coast because, like I always say, the West Coast hauntings seem to be so different than what's on the East Coast, and I think because we're in a different. The history here is in a different period of history than what the East Coast has.
Right.
The East Coast is seemingly like the beginning of the history of the United States, and as it came out here to the Wild West, it's in a different point in the history, so it's a totally different type of vibe and haunting. It's the Hollywood type thing. Well, you know, Marla and her books, which is very real, we have that Hollywood thing because of the element of you know, their egos were so big in Hollywood. But then we also have the element of the struggles of the people coming out and forging their way through and beginning here in the Wild West. So it's kind of a different type of haunting, but, you know, it's haunting nevertheless. And the one thing that I always like to bring up as well is everyone looking into this and looking into hauntings or because I'm into all things paranormal, not just ghosts, but I know a lot of people are most fascinated by the ghost issue. But you got to figure, this is all history. There wouldn't be ghosts to hunt if there weren't history before. So that's what I find absolutely fascinating. It's like we're tracking our past when we're looking for these, whatever it is that we're chasing here in the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Donn, this is Craig. It's nice to meet you. I'm the quiet
Craig.
one on this show.
I guess so. I guess so.
What I would like to know, and maybe the listeners would like to know, tell us about your first experience with the Shadow Man, and then what happened a week later in Volcano, California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this kind of blew me away because I had been really looking up everything I could on shadow people. And I thought, this is something I want to pursue. I'm thinking a shadow person. Maybe it's just a darker colored ghost. Who knows? And I went on the Hornet, the USS Hornet, in Alameda, and stayed the night there for a Night Watchers event. And we were out running around, and we're looking around, and we're trying to investigate, but it was all being very strange. Amy Bruni from Ghost Hunters and some of her friends there was a little snack room, and you could see the lights from the snack machines, and they were sitting at a table, and we had gone outside on the deck to smoke. So we were out there for a while and talking and everything, and we were coming back, and I decided to turn off the camera, of course. I decided to turn off the camera, and we were walking back, and I looked to my left. I saw something out of the corner of my eye, as most people do, and I see like this dark shadow, but it was very obviously, you could see bell-bottom pants, the little sailor cap, and when I saw him move, then when I turned my head and looked, you could tell the shadow person, his body language, actually he kind of looked like, oh my God, she sees me. And then he dashes off to the left. And I thought, oh my God, Amy and those guys are still in there. I just thought it was one of their shadows coming from the vending machine lights. I went into the room. There was absolutely no one in there. There's no way to get out. It's just a little room with no doors. And this shadow guy saw me see him. He reacted, ran to his right, which would have been over towards the vending machines, and there's no way to get out. And I saw him, and then I realized I just saw my first shadow person. And what blew me away is remembering the bell-bottom pants and the sailor cap, and then I realized it couldn't have been Amy and those guys, and there was no one in that room. So that absolutely, that put it in my mind. This is something that really exists. And now, see, with him just being a sailor, a lot of people are talking about that they're these darker entities, or they're excuse me, they're the watchers, or they're this, or they're that. But because it being a sailor, and this was a hornet, at least the shape was a sailor, I'm thinking maybe perhaps some of them just come back with a darker image. I don't know, but none of us know anything about this field, and it's kind of difficult to say. You can't say this was an evil spirit, a shadow man. He was shaped like a sailor, so I'm thinking for some reason that's the way he came back. That's the way I saw him. So that was the most interesting event for me, because I'd read so much about them, and I actually saw one, and of course the camera was off. So I just was blown away at the experience. And then a week later, we went up to another event. It was a Beyond Reality event, and it was Amy and the gang up there, and we had gone to Volcano, California, which is a tiny little mining town. I think the entire population of that little town is 180 people. But it's really old. It's from way back in the mining days, the 1800s. And we went up there, and they were Sid. He was the director of our team at the time, and he did a lot of training on equipment and how to investigate and whatnot, and show people how to use the meters. And so what we did was we broke up into teams, and I was filming Sid as he taught people. So we're in this very, very old hotel that was like the cornerstone of this town. And I was watching Sid, walking him around, filming, walking behind him. And usually when I leave a location or a room, I'll do a 360 pan of the room to just say this is where we were. He had finished showing people how to use the meters and this, that, and the other, and then he walked out with the group, and I was doing my 360 pan, and I kind of stopped because people are going to laugh. I don't care what anybody says. I've to my dying day, this happened. I'll never get it out of my head. I was in the middle of panning around the room with my camera, and right at that moment, a man, his figure comes out of the wall. see was that gray, pasty, see-through look. All you could see was his head, his shoulders, and his torso. And he kind of leans out of the wall and looks around. And it was like in the old days in the cartoons, those haunted, with the ghosts and everything, they'd show the ghost looking through a wall, but you couldn't see the whole body, and then they'd hide back in the wall,
Right.
back into the wall. That's what I saw. And he was looking around the room, and all of a sudden he saw me looking at him. And I had my camera running. And, okay, someone did ask earlier, had I ever run from a location? I'll tell you what, my feet were out the door. I wanted so bad to run. I could imagine in my head nothing but a pair of shoes sitting there. I wanted to run so badly. And I told myself, Donn, this is what you're here for. Keep the camera rolling. So I just kept my camera pointed and focused at this man coming through the wall. And I know my mouth fell open, and I'm looking at him, and he looked at me. His eyes got big, and his mouth fell open. And we're both looking at each other, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I just kept the film rolling. And then finally, he turned his head, and he ducked back in the wall. So I was shaking at that point, and I grabbed my still camera, and I shot a picture of that area. And then I ran out in the hall, and I'm calling Sid, and I'm calling everybody. I'm going, oh my God, you'll never believe. And Sid's still talking because he's that guy that likes to talk a lot. And I'm going, Sid, this is serious. And he's going, just a minute. And he's still talking about meters. And I'm yelling, it was a ghost. I finally got his attention, and he goes, what are you talking about? And he walks in all casual, and I'm pointing at the wall, my hand's shaking, and I'm going, a ghost just came out of that wall. I swear. And I said, I filmed it. Wait a minute. And then I rewound my camera, and the whole point of time that I was filming, I had my camera on autofocus. And when something new comes into the frame, the camera focuses itself.
Mm-hmm.
It went out of focus. It went out of focus for the entire time I was filming that thing through the wall. I thought, oh my God, I've captured a ghost on film. Oh my God. But as it popped into the frame, my camera went out of focus. It stayed out of focus till the guy went back into the wall. Now, I did look at the still photo I shot right after, and there's a big light white area exactly where I saw the thing coming through the wall, kind of like an energy, stamp was left there. I don't know. But I still see the guy's face in my brain when I think of this. It's something I will never, ever forget. And, of course, as it is, it's something you don't get on camera. And some of the most amazing experiences, you're going to find you don't get on camera. And that's what makes it difficult for people to realize or believe that you had that experience if you can't show them.
Right.
But forever, I'll know, I had that experience. And no one's going to take it away from me. I don't care. But I did experience this ghost in that room. And he experienced me, obviously, by the look on his face. I think he was very surprised that I saw him. So it was interesting to say the least, but he looked like an older guy, balding in the center, with kind of on the side, long hair, and he was that gray, pasty but transparent looking thing that you would imagine, that you see on movies and stuff. It blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. But yeah, it was great to have both of those experiences within a week of each other, and that kind of solidified it for me and said, you know what, there is something. And I want more opportunity to see if I can capture it. I want to show other people. But still, as it is, both of those were experiences. I didn't get a picture. The footage didn't come out. But I experienced them, and I take that to the grave. I am just extremely pleased that I even had the experience.
And
Donn,
I feel...
do you know how lucky you are to even have that experience?
Right.
I mean, that's... Now, I have a question for you, Donn. Do you still have that footage?
Yeah, I do.
We had a guest on.
I don't destroy. Go ahead.
We had a guest on a few months ago, and he has some software editing. He took it frame by frame. He had the same experience you did, and he caught 4 apparitions.
Oh.
So that may be something to try.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, it might be worth a second look. Yeah, I don't get rid of any video. Another practice that I do. I never record over a tape. Every time I go, I use a brand new fresh tape. Because then, if that can happen, that can create anomalies. I never record over anything. And for all those people out there, I use mini DV tapes. And it does get quite expensive. But I'll tell you what, I go to Amazon.com and I can get like 5 of them for $10 or something. And I stock up on those tapes, and I never record over a tape because that starts problems. And if you record over tape and people know you do that, then they're always going to be able to pick your stuff apart. Always.
Exactly.
People will pick everything apart, and if they find out you've recorded over something, that's the first thing to do.
That's
so
right.
I keep everything, and I never record over a tape.
And that's one thing about ghost hunting or investigating, is that the biggest part of the stuff is personal experiences. About the only thing that you can have any evidence to actually prove anything is through the EVPs. Because
that's the most compelling. It really is.
Yeah. So.
Well, the other thing is like.
Do what?
Hello?
It just sounded like a car just drove by on some gravel, and I didn't know whose phone was picking that up.
It wasn't on
it's
mine.
actually me up. It's me up here in the mountains.
Oh.
Well, you're not my neighbor because we haven't had a car go by here in 6 hours. So you're good.
Yeah, it's me up here in the mountains, and that was the car that drives down the hill.
By the way, Donn, earlier you'd indicated your compilation DVD and all that. If memory serves, I sent you the EVP I got during QueenCon, right?
Right.
The Queen Mary.
You did.
Yeah. I never heard as to what you thought of that.
Well, I'll tell you what. As a matter of fact, I remember thinking it was awesome. I thought I responded to you. But here's the deal. I was putting together a Queen Mary DVD. I had it all down, and I was collecting evidence from everybody because I wanted everyone to be involved. I was getting close to, getting as much as I could on this DVD, and I love it, the layout I have. And then Christopher Booth, of course, he contacted me, and he said, before you put that out, please wait. We really want to work with you on the Queen Mary DVD. So it all came to a screeching halt. But now they've kind of moved on. They're doing the New Orleans thing. They're getting ready to release the new film I'm seeing this month. The Native Americans, and that's an epic, amazing film that everyone's going to need to check out. So I don't know what they're doing as far as how long it's going to take to get back to this Queen Mary project, but I really want to I want to go forward with it, and I'm thinking about if I can't find evidence, I want to recontact people, get whatever they have. I would like to put this out, and then if they would like to work on something and do it differently and not necessarily, they can still use the evidence that I've captured from people, but I would like to get this out because I think the things that we've gathered, like your EVP, a number of things I've captured, a lot of other people have captured, I really think people that are unable to get to the Queen Mary or that have never been there and they're into the paranormal, I think it would be fascinating for them to be able to get a copy. So I'm kind of glad you brought that up because I want to get back on that project because I had gathered some amazing stuff. And like I told you, those EVPs I've just added to my, my Facebook, they were taken on the Queen Mary, and they kind of blew me away. And then the one you had, and then Diane sent me a couple, and a number of other people sent me some things. And I've gotten pictures from other people that they're very strange things. And so I would really like to pursue the Queen Mary DVD and get it out there for people. And then if Christopher and Philip would like to work with me on something that's more epic and in the style of the Booth Brothers, I would be happy to do that. But I know that there's people across the country that hear so much about the Queen Mary and are really unable to get out there and investigate. But I would like for them to see these are some of the various things that have been captured by people we know,
Now, I know investigating on the West Coast is probably a little bit different than in the Midwest or East Coast. You've investigated pretty much all around, though. What place have you found to be the most active?
Well, I got to tell you, I love the Queen Mary, and they're kind of like subliminal hauntings to me, and it's just like part of the atmosphere, Waverly Hills is intense, and that's due to the history. But the other place that I feel is just as intense is Wolf Manor in Clovis, California. That place, and it has a similar history to Waverly Hills. It's just on a smaller scale. It was a sanitarium. But that place, and some of that stuff was on my DVD as well, where I was filming Sid, who at that time was the director of our team, and he was in the kitchen, and he was talking, and I was filming him, and there were things chattering to him, and it was not the people in the background. These EVPs, you could hear there was no atmosphere behind their voices, and you can always tell that it's something not included in the type situation. It was totally different, and I got someone talking to Sid. I got all kinds of stuff. That place there, Wolf Manor in Clovis, is guaranteed. I think that's guaranteed activity. You can go there, and it's guaranteed. If you're open to it, it's guaranteed. And he is making that into a hotel, and he is going to be promoting it as a hotel. So you're going to know when you rent your room there, this place is haunted, and we're going to leave some space for you to be able to investigate. But that place is like guaranteed activity. That and Waverly Hills, those two stand out most in my mind. But Queen Mary, I enjoy more because to me, it's like a comfortable haunting. Nothing there that I've ever been frightened or I didn't get the chills. So if any of that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Now, when I was at the Linda Vista event about a month or two ago, I was talking, who was it? It may have been Andrew Lyons, indicating that Wolf Manor might be a little darker than it would be, not exactly the safest place to have a B&B or a hotel or something.
Yeah.
He indicated a lot of times ghosts would attach themselves to people and follow them home and such like that.
Right. And I can explain that.
Okay.
This place was a sanitarium. I mean, it had the tuberculosis thing. It was a place it was the elderly. It was a place, in the words of Todd Wolfe, this was a place, when you came to this place, you knew you were coming to die. Whoever stayed there, they knew they were not leaving. There were stories of people that their family couldn't deal with them anymore. They would take them and drop them off. You'd never hear from them again. There were people abandoned. And then because of the overcrowding in the hospital, the nurses were overwhelmed. There was one nurse to every 22 patients or something. Then there was stories of abuse. Now, there have been some people, now this is just my opinion, and I don't care who's out there. If they don't like it, this is my personal opinion. There's been some people there, and they're the ones that go out, and everywhere is horrible, it's haunted, and there's demons, okay? There have been some people that have gone out there, and they're saying there's something horrible out there. There's something horrible. And someone opened up a portal. And I'm so done with that phrase. But, I think the spirits there, the majority of them, are people that were left behind. They're in a place they don't know. They were abandoned. And so, they're going to attach themselves to your energy and go home with you. It only makes sense. They're attracted to your energy. These people were left there. They were abused by the staff. They were forgotten, and they died. And the conditions there got really bad. Then the place was trying to, maintain the finances, and they were getting checks from the state for a lot of these patients. And, if a patient died, rather than informing the state right away, they wanted to get that next check, they were loading them up in the basement. I mean, what kind of a place is this something that's going to bring you the happy thoughts? I don't think so. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's some horrible, demonic character, and demons, in my opinion, are very rare. But it's not always something demonic. And there are people that have dark spirits when they're alive. If they die, they got them same dark spirits. And they had some grouchy old people that lived there, and so you're going to get all that. I mean, you get it all with the living. Why would you not get it coming over across from the dead? But I hear his point. But there have been some people out there talking about how there's these evil spirits, and it's a frightening place. I've been in there a number of times, and I have gotten the chills, and I feel uncomfortable at times. But if you think about the history, heck, if that place was still full in bloom as a sanitarium, I would be uncomfortable with all the people still alive. Why would you feel any different because of that energy left behind? So I really don't think it's something evil and demonic, but some of those people, you know, they have a right to be upset dealing with being thrown off, abandoned, and abused by the staff. So, you know, people can believe that. I have no way to prove it's one way or another, but I just have my personal opinion. I hope I didn't go on too long on that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You're fine.
No, you know, I agree with you, Don. I think the over talking of evil and demonic is from people watching too much TV and movies.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And what that's doing is it's spreading around to other people, and they're thinking if they go on a ghost hunt, if something touches them, oh my God, I got touched by a demon. No, you didn't.
Exactly.
You didn't.
All it is somebody trying to make contact with you.
Right. And sometimes they don't realize their own strength, and if you get pushed, they're trying to make contact, but maybe they pushed a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, so you never know.
I think.
But you remember the movie Ghost?
Yeah.
You know the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze. And I think this is an amazing scene in the film when he's trying to figure out how he can help Demi Moore, and he meets the guy in the subway, the spirit in the subway, who teaches him how to be able to manipulate things. Right there, I think, I thought that was the closest thing that I could imagine of how it must really be. Him trying to teach the guy how to control how he can manipulate things, move things, or touch things. I thought that was an amazing rendition.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll be looking for that guy on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of scares me. He's a demon. No. I'm kidding. Yeah, but I'm hoping I can find someone on the other side that'll show me how to manipulate things.
Exactly.
You know, but I thought it was very. I thought if it were that way, they really did that scene well, showing that they can immediately manipulate things or move things.
Right.
It's a process, and
They
you
have
have
to
to
learn.
learn it. And instead of waiting for it to come to him, he went to someone to teach him.
And it's
that
using
guy had
their
anger.
energy, to be able to do it.
That guy had anger, and he was a mean spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't a demon. He just was angry, and he was mean to people.
Right.
I think he was more. I think he was more like it was Vince Giavelli, by the way. He was more of a self-tortured spirit. He was very paranoid, and clearly that was his issue in life. So yeah, that was.
I think
his,
he was, and the way they portrayed him, it was like he was mad in life and he's mad in death.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
I
handful
thought
of people
was very
that. There's a handful of people I plan on haunting when I go, so I hope he's there on the other side.
Well, you can watch
I
that
am
movie. Watch that movie so you know how to move things.
I am looking forward to that.
We are.
Anyway,
Okay.
We're going to slow down for a few minutes here and take another quick break. Tonight, because our sound has been kind of choppy and everything, I'm waiting till next week before we play the second part of Patty's interview. So that way sound will be better and everybody will be able to hear it a whole lot better, hopefully anyway. So we're going to wait till next week to do the Spotlight Report. I've already told Patty that we was going to wait just because of that, and everything's cool. So you won't be missing it, but we'll get it on next week. With that, we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I want to let everybody know that right after our show tonight, you have Joe and Tara from Visions Magazine Radio, and they have tonight Sherry Whitfield, caretaker of the Synergy Crystal Skull, and Tara and Joe will do the review of the movie Thor. So you can stay tuned right after our show for that.
Henry, you're torturing Don.
It sounds like it,
I
don't
know I don't have any internet. But you know what? Can I take this opportunity to say hi to everybody in the chat room?
Yes, you
'Cause I
can.
can't be there.
You can.
Well, thank you. Hi to everybody in the chat room. I wish I was there. And God, I'd love to listen to the next show, too. We love Para-X.
Very good. And I'm sure that Joe and Tara podcast theirs, so you'll be able to go back. And when you are able, you can listen to that show then. So.
Okay, thank you.
Now, with that, I'm going to let our great West Coast host take us out to break. How's that sound?
Oh, cool. Well, folks, you're listening to the Paranormal View at para-x.com with our otherwise internet-deprived guest, Donn Shy, the paranormal publicist. We write back so stay tuned for the thrilling answer to tonight's question: will Skype let the audio for the rest of tonight's show be comprehensible?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Paranormal View right here on the Para-X Radio Network. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight from around the world and right here in the chat room with us. Remember, if you have questions for Donn, private chat them to myself, Craig, or Jeffrey, but you'll need to do it fairly quickly because we're coming up to our last half hour. So the night has just flown by, and I do want to, again, thank everybody for staying with us, even though we've had some sound issues tonight. So hopefully all that'll get straightened out.
In the chat room, we're still getting reports of the audio cutting in and out.
Yeah, I know it is. Donn, I do want to let you know that everybody from the chat room was also saying hi to you. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss being here.
And
I'm really missing it.
And we appreciate you being here.
I really want to thank you guys here at the Paranormal View on Para-X.com for letting me be on tonight. So, and I really do miss being in the chat room.
Great.
Well, you're very welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yes. Maybe the next time we have you on, the sound issues will be a whole lot better and everything will be flowing more smoothly. So. Yeah,
and maybe I'll have the internet. But also, maybe I could even send you some EVPs, and we could do EVPs.
Yeah, now that'd be a great thing, and I'd like for you to get that creepy crawling thing.
The creeper.
Yeah. I'd like you to get that put up, and I can have people go to it to take a look at it. They would really be freaked out looking at that. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was bizarre, and people were telling me initially they're going, "Oh, it's a bat." No, you can't see through a bat.
No.
And bats don't walk on the wall. So
and
I don't know.
Bats are not that big.
No.
Yeah, in fact, when I used to do animal control back in New Jersey, and one of the things I got to do as night calls is when a bat would get into someone's house and fly around, and when they're curled up and they're like sitting up on the wainscoting or something on the wall, it's really tough to see them because they're the size of little dust bunnies. They're so tiny.
They are.
And super cute, but still.
Yeah, we went to the zoo today, and we went into this one place where they have, birds flying loose and everything, and on this tree that they had in there, they must have been about 4 bats bunched up together right on the trunk of the tree hanging up there. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, see, I would run from a bat.
You would run from?
I run from spiders. I run from spiders, and I run from bats. So if whoever asked that earlier, yes, there are things I would run from, but I have not yet run from. Let me tell you. You want to hear another interesting story?
Oh, sure. Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm here for, I guess.
That's it. Yes.
Let me tell you something. Now, I have mentioned Michael and Marty Perry, who they are an amazing, real. Oh my God, they blow me away on a daily basis. We had gone to a home where we were doing an investigation. And with Michael and Marty, Michael gets the messages from the other side. Marty will sit and sketch spirits that sit for her, and she will draw their pictures. We were at an investigation, and it was in a certain area in the Los Angeles area that has been known for, gang violence and this, that, and the other. Well, we went into this home that was apparently having a lot of activity. And I was filming them, so I didn't feel I was part of investigating or anything, and I was filming them as they spoke to the family. And I always have my huge camera. I have a big camera case that also serves as a seat if I need it. And I was filming them, and as Michael was talking to these people, all of a sudden everything started turning white, like I was about to faint. I got a shooting pain in the side of my head. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew I had to keep filming. So I kept filming, and as I was doing that, I was holding the camera, trying to keep it steady, but then I was I was kind of settling myself down on my camera case to sit to continue the filming. But I had this excruciating pain in my head. Everything was going white. Thought I was going to faint. All of a sudden, I came out of it, and I was fine. So then he was done talking to the family, and Marty started showing her drawing. She showed a drawing of a guy and asked the family if they recognized him. And they said, no, we don't know who he is. And what turns out, it was a drawing of a guy that kind of looked Hispanic. And then they started saying, they started talking about the neighborhood in the area, and apparently there had been a gang shooting out front, and there was a guy that was shot in the head. And what blew me away is I was thinking, was that spirit here? Is that why Marty drew him? Was he the one shot in the head, and was I experiencing his feelings? He was trying to let us know what happened. So there's so many weird, strange things that, that blew me away, and that was the only explanation we could come up with. But they said they didn't recognize the drawing, but they started talking about some shootings that had gone on, and there was a guy right out in front of the house that shot in the head. Now, I had a shooting pain in my head, and everything was turning white like I was leaving the earth or I was going to faint.
Huh.
So, strange things like that, you got to figure, I was thinking maybe that spirit was trying to tell us, this happened to me, and that's my picture. Tell somebody. Maybe he wanted to say something to his family. I don't know. But they, people that are able to contact the other side like that also blow me away, because Michael and Marty have done that in a number of times. And my youngest daughter, who I had an event in Ventura, I had Michael and Marty there doing a session. For some reason, I made my daughter go. 4 people came through for my daughter that Michael and Marty they didn't know my daughter, they didn't know her friends, they didn't know anything, and these people came through. Marty drew a picture of someone for my daughter, and Michael brought through 3 people that were saying, hey, Cal, yo, Cal. I mean, there was no reason for him to act like that.
Huh.
So you got to figure, not only are we hunting them down and possibly getting evidence, but there are people able to actually interact and speak to the other side. And that's something that I really would like to study more, because I'm blown away on a daily basis when I deal with Michael and Marty, and there are other people that have these abilities, that I'm thinking, how amazing is that they actually are in tune with that other side.
That's pretty interesting, though. And now, being out there, let me ask you this. Have you come across the spirits of, like, any actors, like Hopalong Cassidy, or somebody that people may have heard of?
Well, I'll tell you what. Now that you bring that up, I have been to, I don't know if I should say which studios it is. One of the major studios is one of the historical studios in Hollywood. And actually, I was there with Michael and Marty Perry, and I thought, well, I'll film them. The guy that was giving us the tour and taking us to the locations that were allegedly active, I captured some EVPs in some of the studios that are so crystal clear, and they mention names. And so those, we think they might have been workers that had been injured there or died, working on a set or something. But then we went and we had this one tour guide that none of us knew this till the end. He was absolutely, his main star that he was in love with was Judy Garland.
Oh.
And, that was his favorite, and we didn't know this till the very end. Well, I was filming Michael and Marty in a number of locations. Michael and Marty picked up on a lot of different people that were stars, and I was getting voices. At one point, Michael picked up on some actor. He said, I recognize his face. I can't think of his name, but he's wearing like a wartime World War II uniform, and we were standing in the studio. I'm filming Michael, and Michael goes, and he said he's running down the side of the building. I turned my camera around. This little white light just goes floating down the side of the building. And I thought, was that the spirit Michael was feeling? And then they were at another point where they were talking, and they actually began discussing Judy Garland. We were outside, and there was a lot of ambient noises that were generally associated with outside. These voices that I picked up, these voices came in, the outside noises stopped. It was like they stopped the world for them to speak. And I swear I got Judy Garland's voice.
Wow.
And a man talking to her. Yeah, and this is one that she sounded young, and she was something, because Michael was saying something about Judy Garland, and he said, was she married? And I hear this woman's voice that sounds, because Judy Garland was one of my number ones as well. My mom, it was her favorite, so I watched everything Judy Garland, and so she became one of my favorites, and I recognized the voice. And when Michael's talking to these people, he's going, well, was she married? This one EVP that blocked out all the outside voices, I'm married. And then a man's voice said something, and then she goes, oh, shut up. And it sounded just like Judy Garland. And these voices were doing this exchange, but they blocked out the outside noises, that blew me away. And then there was another point we got to where it was Lucy and Ricky. So you're going to guess which studios it was, but it was Lucy and Ricky's office on the lot. I can't say who it was.
Paramount.
All right, I'm here. I'm trying to say I'm not supposed to say what studio. Thank you, Jeff.
Well, I was gonna say I know that.
Okay, cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag. So anyway, we're outside of Ricky and Lucy's office on the stage or on the lot, and there's a little bench out there, and I'm filming Michael and Marty to see if they're getting any feelings. And all of a sudden, there was no one around us, and all of a sudden, I get a voice of a man saying something. There were roses. And Michael gets up, and he goes, I'm getting the feeling of a gardener. I'm going to go find out if something happened to a gardener. Right after I got the EVP of a guy going, and there were roses. Then I turn the camera. Marty looks to the side, and for some reason, I turned my camera to the same side. And then there was someone that said something about they're screaming, and they went, I killed myself. These are the strangest EVPs. And you can totally tell it wasn't anyone living. It was from somewhere else because there was no echo. There was no life to the voices. So I am absolutely positive, personally, that I feel that I did capture Judy Garland. And some man, and I'm not sure, he has, in the old, 30s, 40s, 50s, they all talked with that elegant kind of voice, like, Cary Grant and all of them did. They had like an accent, but it was like a Hollywood accent, I like to call it. And this man was speaking with that accent. And it sounded like Judy Garland, because I thought it was Judy Garland because it sounded young, but it sounded like Liza Minnelli. And she's going, I'm married. And then the guy says something, and she goes, oh, shut up. And it blew me away. So I've really got to get those out there for people to, maybe listen to and see what they feel. But the voices were there, and it kind of cut out all the outdoor noises, and that's what I found strange as well. Then we went into the little theater that they have there on the lot, and Michael was doing a reading of everyone that was in the group, and I was back in the corner purposely, so no one would be around me whispering or talking. There was no one around me, and Michael started talking about someone that had been injured or hurt or this or something happened to them. There was an accident, and I get a voice, and he's asking names, and I get a voice in my camera that says something like, I was Raymond, or it was Raymond. I mean, this voice is telling us the name. So there are some people wandering around there on the set, and I, like I always say, I'm so thankful and honored to be able to have captured what I captured. I haven't shared them because so many people pick so many things apart, but I'm looking at the location I captured them, and I'm feeling so strongly what I think it is. So I'm thinking that perhaps it's time for me to release them and let people hear them, but I could swear it's Judy Garland.
Well, now that would be interesting also. You can have those available for when we have you on again.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I got to set some time across. Yeah, I got to set some time aside to get this stuff out there.
I was surprised somebody would wonder whether or not Judy Garland would marry, because it makes me say, where do you think Liza Minnelli came from?
Exactly. And see, that's the thing about Michael. When he's in the zone and he's He's feeling, and a lot of history behind the people that he's getting the information from. He doesn't know anything about them. He has no clue, and he just starts saying what's coming to him. And in fact, we were at that house that is the alleged place where Sharon Tate and everybody's haunting. It's not the actual house. The house is like, a couple houses away, but the spirits come to visit this guy. And Michael was doing a reading there, and he, people were saying, he was bringing up things, and of course people under their breath are going, oh, you can see that on the internet, you can find that on the internet. But Michael's like, I never followed that. I didn't care. It was horrible. I didn't want to know the facts. And so he was asking the spirits, can you bring something forth that, most people wouldn't know? And he was bringing up things that were all, they were hits. And then he finally looked into the camera and he goes, I really think I'm speaking to Sharon. And that part, it blew me away because and in fact, I did a DVD, a 2-set DVD of Michael and Marty Perry, and that's a little section I put on there because it just blew me away, the things that he was coming up with. And then he just came out of his trance-like state kind of, and he goes, I really believe we're speaking with Sharon. And he was bringing up things, and some of the things we could validate, some we couldn't. Most of them, the things he brought up, were hits because we had, what's his name? Oh, geez, Warner's in the chat room. Michael, the guy dearly departed tours. I'm sorry, I'm messing up his name. But he was there, and he was the one who was providing the information to validate what was coming through with Michael.
Huh.
And there were other people there that also had a history with people that were involved in this, that were at the house or whatever. And Michael had hits for them, things, and the spirits come through validating things so okay, this is true, this is true, this is true. So whatever he says about this, you've got to believe it's true. So that was an experience. I mean, I was filming that, and I was kind of blown away. But it's the validation, and when he said that, I thought, they do linger. But he did say, no, we're not haunting this place. We just like to come here and mess with the owner. So you can't think that they're just always hanging around that house. That's not what happened. That wasn't their home, but it's close enough to where they go. And the other thing, the owner, I'm not going to mention his name or whatever, but when you're in the house, he's continually going, what was that? Oh my God! Did you hear that? So I could imagine the spirits would want to go play with him because he's always freaking out. That was kind of fun too. But yeah, the Hollywood thing, I think the most memorable for me is I'm pretty sure that I got Judy Garland, and there might have been some others. I got to review the tape.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that spirits can pretty much go where they want to. I think the reason they hang out at certain places a lot is they have an attachment to the place that they remember that very well when they was alive, and the time period that they grew up in, or when they were there.
Or something they're familiar with. Yeah, they're familiar with it.
But they can still, if they want to go somewhere, I don't feel that they're chained and tied down to that one spot. Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine the vacations? And they don't have to use their planes for anything.
Oh yeah,
they can just go
wherever they want to. Yeah, and that's what I would do. I would travel around. Let me look at this.
Yeah, go flying around and see what you can see.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah.
So. Well, Don, I'm not sure why you weren't able to. Getting a horrible echo in here. I don't know what the reason is you weren't able to name Paramount. But actually, it's quite well known that there are ghosts that go to and from the lot into Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which abuts it through the walls.
Right. Yeah, we went to the wall. We were trying to film. I haven't really thoroughly reviewed that section, but we did go to a street scene, a setting there, and I was filming Michael standing there trying to get readings, and I get a voice screaming something out. It's just the reason why we can't mention Paramount is because the people that gave the tours, and then a lot of people think, oh, I want to do that too, and I want to go there, and then it starts a big kind of nasty thing. It's not a general tour. It's really something that was personalized.
Now,
Boy.
I have two questions for Don.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
I don't know if I have the answers.
Now, you always have a camera in your hand. Have you ever tried infrared photography?
You know what? I was playing around with that, and I did get an infrared lens, and I'm amazed with that, but I haven't done it on an investigation.
Okay, we got to try it because it works. And my second question is, besides the camera and the digital recorder, what is your one piece of equipment, favorite piece of equipment that you like to take with you on an investigation?
Okay, well, of course, we always talk about our senses. You know, and everyone talks about how important a flashlight is. One thing that's really important to me. But the one thing that I never go to an investigation without is my Sony Minicam. It has IR, but it also has captured the most amazing. The microphone on this is it blows me away. This has captured this is my third camera, but it captures the best EVPs I've ever gotten. I bought all the equipment ever known to man. I spent over $7,000 collecting all this stuff, and I thought, what am I doing? And when I had this mini DV camera, this thing has brought everything home. It gets me all the audio. It gets me video. It's easy to carry. And the other stuff kind of sits in my bag. You know, if I know something's going on, I don't need a K2 meter to tell me. I don't need an EMF meter to give me a spike. I get a voice or I get a movement. I've gotten things moving on this camera, and it's got the IR where I can see in front of me and I don't trip over things. So, to me, this is the most important part of equipment aside from a flashlight.
Well, now, didn't they quit?
It's to each his own, you know.
Didn't they quit making those cameras like that with the IR on them?
Excuse me?
Yes, they did, yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately. And Don, if you would share that information after the show secretly, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Secrets. We like secrets. Yeah, but that's my most important. That if I didn't have that, I wouldn't even bother going out. I used to do the photos. I was really diligent on the photos, and I got some great things. But you know, like the photos I got in the Queen Mary in the pool area, the blue energy shots that still to this day no one can describe what is or what happened. But I generally, you know, the photos haven't really panned out. The little digital voice recorders, I use only Olympus. I've got 3 of them. They've been great, but once I found this camera, I did the video, audio, and everything all in one bundled thing. This is the thing. And I'm thinking, instead of spending $7,000 like I did, spend $350 and get this camera, and you've got everything in a box. And grab a flashlight, and you're ready to go. So that's my personal opinion. Other people want all the gadgetry. But, you know, if you're really just looking to find out if it's real, why do you need every piece of instrument known to man? But if you're really scientific and really want to log this stuff in, how can you do all that? And I found myself trying to operate cameras and EMF detectors and K2s and voice recorder and everything all at once.
All at one time, yeah.
You know, that's why you need a team. But then if you're not all together and everything isn't being logged in, it's dark.
True.
Are you really going to make notes in the dark?
Right. Yep.
You know, so it depends on where you're going, who you're with, how serious you are, or if you just want to find out if it really exists. I may have made some people mad tonight. At this point, I really don't care. I'm just talking from my heart. And if people,
I don't think you have.
You know, if people just want to find out if it's real or get an experience, you don't need all that. But if you really, really want to get serious, go ahead and start investing. But I found my equipment sits and collects dust. But my mini DV camera, it's Sony. It's the best thing I've ever. Like I said, this is my 3rd one. That to me, I don't leave home without it.
Yeah, that's
right.
I've agreed with everything you said tonight, Don. I'm not sucking up. I've agreed with everything you said.
One other thing to add to that, if they're there at night, they're there in the daytime. You can get just as
Exactly.
much in the day as you
Exactly.
can at night.
Well said, Henry.
Exactly.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. That's another point that I like to bring up. I've been called in on investigations when I'm saying, okay, what is the best time of day when these things happen? Oh, it's usually around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Oh, my God, I can't come out because I can't go lights out. You know, what is that?
Yeah.
You can't tell the people, no, I can't come out because I can't do lights out at 1 or 2 in the afternoon. No, this stuff happens all the time. It's just, I think, with the darkness effect, it's just, you know, there's less light, less noise in the evening, less activity going on, and this, that, and the other. But I still think, even if you're investigating at night, you don't have to turn out all the lights. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't care
Lights
what
out
day,
are for-
time. Yeah, you know, I think that's a dramatic effect, and
It is.
and I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, whether the lights are on or off. I've heard of people in their homes saying, "Oh my God, and this thing moved across the room. What were you doing?" We were watching TV. They didn't have the lights out.
Right.
Okay, so you know that whole thing does not play well with me.
The only
And
reason
if
that
it's going
they,
to happen, it's going to happen.
I think the only reason they want that is they feel that they can see things, I guess, better in the dark. But I can't. I'm night blind.
Isn't that? Listen what you just said.
Yeah.
And listen to what you just said.
Yeah.
They feel they can see things better in the dark.
And I'm
We
night blind.
invented
I can't
light.
see nothing.
We invented lights so we could see in the dark.
That's right.
My opinion,
what I'm
lights
saying?
out. Lights out are for TV ratings only.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a dramatic effect. And yes, sometimes I do notice this, that when you turn out lights and all the electrical things, then all of a sudden there's a quietness about the location.
That's true.
But I'm thinking this, if there's activity going on when you're not focusing on turning everything off, once you turn everything off, those spirits are going to go, oh my God, what are they doing? Everything's
Right.
off.
Uh-huh.
They quit acting.
Yep. Well, Don,
You see what I'm saying? You know?
our time has just flown right on by. I want to take the opportunity
Well, I
to
can't believe
thank
it.
you for being on with us tonight.
2
And-
hours
Well, I hope I didn't
already.
Go, I hope I
Yes.
didn't go on. I hope I just didn't go on and ramble.
Oh no, you
we
done
have,
great.
We have no
No,
problem
no, no.
with guests.
Yeah. And I do want you to stay on until after we're off. We'll chat with you
Okay.
for a few minutes if I don't get blowed away here.
Okay.
Yeah, the wind's blowing pretty good here, but I want to take the time now to let everybody know about your sites and how to get a hold of you. And another thing is, just one day, Dave from Para-X and a bunch of us is planning to try and come to the West Coast. We're going to make a caravan or something. So
I want you here.
I assume that when we come out there, you guys are going to take care of us and show us the sights.
Yes, I've been trying to get you guys out here forever. We need X out here. But I will give you a heads up. My website, like I said, it needs some work. I haven't been there for a while, but it's DonnShy.com, DonnShy.com. I'm on Facebook, Donn Shy. I'm on Twitter, Donn Shy. I also do a little show on Paranormal.com, I'm sorry, but it's called The Green Room with Donn Shy. So actually, you could probably do a search, and I'm not putting that out there like, look at me. It's just like, if you're really
If you're looking
find out about
right.
me, you know, if you want to find out about me or see what I'm doing or maybe see some of the videos or photos or whatever, that's the best way to start.
Very good.
And I really would look forward to you guys coming out here. I think Para-X needs to be out here because we love Para-X.
Yeah, we want to take a road trip sometime, but you can't do it in just a couple of days. I mean, we're going to have to take at least
I
a
know.
week, if not 2 weeks, to travel, because with all the equipment we'd have,
Yeah.
we can't fly and carry all that stuff.
Yeah.
We have to drive, so it's going to take a
Well,
little
you
while.
guys keep me posted because I am not missing that, I'll tell you what.
Well, we'll make a caravan, that's for sure. So,
Okay.
so Jeff,
Don, if you go down to Queen Mary or something, feel free to give me a heads up or anything local to which I can get to through the public
Oh,
transit.
definitely. I'd never leave you out. I would always contact you, Jeff, so don't worry about that. But in the meantime, I want to thank you guys for having me tonight on the Paranormal View on Parax.com.
Yep.
Because we love Parax, and I want to thank everybody in the chat room and thank you guys for the questions. And I hope I didn't ramble on, but I have such a passion for the field.
No,
Thank you
that's
so
that's
much.
the way we like it. We like to just ask a question and let the guest talk for 15 or 20 minutes. So
Okay. Okay, then I did my
That's
job.
great
You
for
did
me.
your job.
I love it.
yeah, Jeff, you want to give out all your addresses, you might say?
Yeah, I'm my paranormal oh, I gotta take the headset off. It's too echoey. My website for the Paranormal View is jeffgould.net, GEOFF/2011PNB.htm. That's the Paranormal View page on my website. Or you can go to jeffgould.net/paranormal.htm, which is also experiences I've had and friends have had. We are also on Paranormal View has its own group page on Facebook. Feel free to look for us. We're easy to find. I'm on Facebook, Jeffrey.gould. Henry is on there, Henry Foister and Craig Rupp. So add us all and check out our pages. And as always, I'm writing up a little page for tonight's episode in which when Henry uploads the chittery, chattery, in and out audio that is
Podcast,
tonight's
yes.
show. Yeah,
We'll get that up there.
that'll be able to be listened to and hopefully decipherable by your ears.
Yes, hopefully. And if you'd like some Paranormal View stuff like T-shirts, cups, and all that, you can also get that right through Jeff's site. So
Yes,
feel free to
that would
get
be,
that also.
Yeah, if you go to cafepress.com slash, make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, it's cafepress.com/Real Badger Shop. RealBadgerShop.
Okay, with that, our time's up. We're running on out of here. And next week we will see you. We will be live from Antietam with Craig Rupp. So be here for that. This is Henry Foister.
Craig Rupp.
Jeffrey Gould.
And we will see you next week at the same time. So we're running. See you later next week.
Night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Night.